everyone, my name's Allie and welcome back to my channel, Mindful Living. Today on my channel, I'm back with a brand new recipe video. My container garden is officially done for the season, but make sure to stay tuned on my channel as I will be growing indoors again this winter. I'm excited to experiment with growing a few different things this year, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated as everything starts to grow. Okay, let's get started with today's video. Well, it's that time of year again, and we're headed into the colder months here in Canada where I'm located, and to me, nothing is more comforting on a cold winter day than warming up inside with a nice hot bowl of soup. One of my favorite soups is homemade butternut squash, and if you've never tried this soup before, you definitely need to because it's so comforting, healthy, tons of flavor, and it's really easy to make. So let's get started with what recipe ingredients you're going to need today. So for your homemade butternut squash soup, you're going to need 1 large butternut squash, 3 carrots, 2 sticks of celery, 3 cloves of fresh garlic, 1 Granny Smith apple, 3 small onions or 2 medium-sized, fresh chives. This was the last harvest of mine from my garden. I'll also be using some dried herbs. These I also dried myself from my garden. If you missed that video, make sure to go back on my channel and check it out. I'll be using dried oregano and parsley today, along with 5 cups of vegetable broth and about 1.5 cups of milk. And feel free to use plant-based milk here if you want to make this recipe vegan. Okay, we're going to start by preheating the oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to be roasting the butternut squash, onion, and garlic in the oven today. From there, I've just gone ahead and cut my butternut squash in half, and I'm going to be scooping out all of the seeds here. I do like to keep the seeds because I am going to be roasting those. They're very similar to pumpkin seeds, and I like to actually top my soup with the roasted seeds at the end. They are so delicious and add that little crunchy bite to your soup, so highly recommend you save your seeds and roast them, or you can even eat them as a snack if you prefer. From there, I am just going to drizzle the butternut squash with a little bit of olive oil. You don't need much here, just a little bit. Rub it all around the tops of the butternut squash. I like to add a little bit of sea salt and black pepper. Then I'm going to add my 3 cloves of garlic because I want this to also roast in the oven. It really adds a nice flavor to the soup. And I'm just going to drizzle down a little bit of olive oil and place my onions to roast as well. Again, this just adds a really nice flavor. Make sure to check on your squash and onions and garlic, I would say every 15 minutes or so. And while that's roasting, we're going to get started on chopping up our vegetables. So I'm just going to cut the ends off my carrots and do a really rough chop because the soup is going to be pureed, so you don't need to make it look perfect. It's going to just quickly go into the pot to boil. And the same thing with the celery. I'm just going to do a quick chop here. Lastly, we have the apple, and you just want to make sure to remove the pit and any seeds. And I keep them in fairly large chunks. Go ahead and put that all into a bowl and set it aside. By now, your garlic and onion will be ready. The garlic and onion definitely cooks a lot faster, so you're gonna leave the butternut squash roasting for another 20 minutes or so. Again, make sure to check on it to make sure it doesn't burn. From there, we're just tossing the onions into our pot here. From there, I've just made 4 cups of vegetable broth that I'm going to pour now into the pot. Followed by 1 more cup of vegetable broth, so 5 cups total. From there, go ahead and add all your vegetables into the pot. And I've just gone ahead and added in about a teaspoon of dried oregano and a teaspoon of parsley. We're going to bring this to a boil and then turn it down and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. After about 40 minutes roasting in the oven, your butternut squash should be done. Go ahead and flip it over. And then use a fork or spoon to just easily scoop out your butternut squash from the skin, and I just go ahead and toss it directly into the soup. Once that's done, it should look something like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on and let it simmer for another 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I've just taken out my immersion blender and I'm just gonna go ahead and blend up the soup directly in the pot. You want to blend your soup until it's completely smooth and looks something like this. Once you're done blending, you're going to go ahead and add about 1 to 1.5 cups of milk, and this just depends on your personal preference of how creamy you would like your soup to be. And I just slowly add that in so the milk does not curdle or anything like that. And the last thing you're going to add to your butternut squash soup, and this is optional, but I really enjoy adding a pinch of brown sugar to my butternut squash soup. And of course, you can salt and pepper to your preference. And the last step here, we're just gonna quickly toast our seeds in a fry pan. So I'm just adding a little bit of seasoned salt, a little drizzle of olive oil, and within a couple minutes, they're gonna get nice and toasted and golden brown. Okay, time to grab a bowl and dig into this delicious butternut squash soup. I like to season with some salt and pepper when I go to serve it, along with some fresh chives, and of course, those roasted seeds. And last but not least, a little dollop of sour cream or plain yogurt. And there you have it. Really simple, easy, healthy, homemade butternut squash soup. I love making this soup every fall and winter. It's one of my favorites to have in rotation. I absolutely love homemade soups this time of year. They're so comforting. So many different ingredients you can throw in there or use up whatever you have in your fridge. I hope if you guys enjoyed this video today, you will give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and let me know what your favorite soup is. And of course, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next one.